Arthur Conan Doyle, The Sign of the Four. Chapter 6. Sherlock Holmes gives a demonstration. "Now, Watson," said Holmes, rubbing his hands, "we have half an hour to ourselves. Let us use it well. My case is, as I have told you, almost finished, but we must not be too confident. The case looks simple now, but there may be something deeper behind it." "Simple?" I cried. "Yes," said he, speaking like a teacher explaining to his class. "Just sit in the corner, so your footprints do not make things harder. Now to work. First, how did these people come, and how did they go? The door has not been opened since last night. What about the window?" He carried the lamp to it, speaking his thoughts aloud, but more to himself than to me. "The window is locked on the inside. The frame is strong. There are no side hinges. Let us open it. There is no water pipe nearby. The roof is too far to reach. Still, a man came through the window. It rained a little last night. Here is a footprint in the mud on the sill. And here is a round muddy mark, and another on the floor, and another by the table. Look here, Watson. This is a very nice example." I looked at the round, clear, muddy marks. "This is not a footprint," I said. "It is something much more useful for us. It is the mark of a wooden leg. You see here on the sill is the mark of a boot, a heavy boot with a wide metal heel. And next to it is the mark of the wooden leg." "It is the man with the wooden leg." "Exactly. But there was someone else, too, a very clever and helpful partner. Could you climb that wall, Doctor?" I looked out of the open window. The moon was still shining brightly on that part of the house. We were about 60 feet above the ground, and wherever I looked, I could see no place to put my foot, not even a small crack in the bricks. "It is completely impossible," I answered. "Without help, yes. But imagine you had a friend up here who lowered this strong rope which I see in the corner, and tied one end to this big hook in the wall. Then, I think, if you were active, you could climb up, even with a wooden leg. You would leave in the same way, and your partner would pull up the rope, untie it from the hook, close the window, lock it from the inside, and go away the same way he came. As a small detail," he continued, touching the rope, "our friend with the wooden leg, although he can climb, is not a professional sailor. His hands are not very hard. My lens shows more than one blood mark, especially near the end of the rope. From this, I think he slid down so fast that he hurt the skin on his hand." "This is all very good," I said, "but it is now even more confusing. What about this mysterious partner? How did he get into the room?" "Yes, the partner," repeated Holmes thoughtfully. "There are some interesting things about this partner. He makes the case more unusual. I think this partner is something new in crime in this country, although there are similar cases from India, and if I remember correctly, from Senegambia." "How did he come in then?" I repeated. "The door is locked. The window cannot be reached. Was it through the chimney?" "The fireplace is far too small," he answered. "I have already thought about that." "How then?" I continued. "You are not using my rule," he said, shaking his head. "How often have I told you that when you remove the impossible, whatever is left, even if it seems unlikely, must be the truth? We know he did not come through the door, the window, or the chimney. We also know he was not hiding in the room, because there is nowhere to hide. So where did he come from?" "He came through a hole in the roof," I cried. "Of course he did. He must have. If you would please hold the lamp for me, we will now continue our search in the room above, the secret room where the treasure was found." He climbed up the steps, and holding a beam with both hands, he pulled himself up into the attic. Then he lay on his stomach, reached down for the lamp, and held it while I followed him. The room we entered was about 10 feet long and 6 feet wide. The floor was made of beams, with thin plaster between them, so when walking, you had to step from one beam to another. The roof went up to a point, and it was clearly the inside part of the real roof of the house. There was no furniture, and a thick layer of dust covered the floor. "Here it is," said Sherlock Holmes, putting his hand on the sloping wall. "This is a trapdoor that leads to the roof. I can push it open, and here is the roof itself, sloping gently. So this is how number 1 entered. Let us see if we can find any other signs about him." He lowered the lamp to the floor, and when he did, I saw for the second time that night a shocked and surprised look on his face. As I followed his eyes, my skin felt cold. The floor was covered with the marks of bare feet, clear, well-shaped, and perfect, but only about half the size of a normal man's foot. "Holmes," I said quietly, "a child did this terrible thing." He became calm again in a moment. "I was surprised for a moment," he said, "but it is quite natural. I forgot something or I would have expected it. There is nothing more to learn here. Let us go down." "What is your idea about these footprints?" I asked eagerly when we were back in the room below. "My dear Watson, try to think about it yourself," he said a little impatiently. "You know my methods. Use them, and it will be interesting to compare our results." "I cannot think of any explanation that fits the facts," I answered. "It will be clear to you soon," he said casually. "I think there is nothing else important here, but I will check." He quickly took out his lens and a measuring tape and moved around the room on his knees. He measured, compared, and examined everything, with his long, thin nose only a few inches from the floor, and his small, sharp eyes shining like a bird's. His movements were fast, quiet, and secret, like a trained hunting dog following a smell. I could not help thinking how dangerous a criminal he would be if he used his intelligence against the law instead of helping it. As he searched, he kept speaking quietly to himself, and at last he gave a loud cry of joy. "We are very lucky," he said. "Now we should have very little trouble. Number 1 has stepped in creosote. You can see the edge of his small foot here, next to this bad-smelling liquid. The bottle has been broken, you see, and the liquid has leaked out." "What does that mean?" I asked. "It means we have him," he said. "I know a dog that could follow that smell to the end of the world. If dogs can follow a dragged fish across a whole area, how far can a specially trained dog follow such a strong smell as this? It sounds like a math problem. The answer should give us the... But wait. Here are the official men of the law." Heavy footsteps and loud voices could be heard below, and the front door shut with a loud bang. "Before they come," said Holmes, "put your hand here on this poor man's arm and here on his leg. What do you feel?" "The muscles are as hard as wood," I answered. "Yes, they are in a state of very strong stiffness, much stronger than normal rigor mortis. Together with the twisted face, this strange smile, or risus sardonicus, as old writers called it. What does it suggest to you?" "Death from a strong plant poison," I answered. "Something like strychnine that causes muscle spasms." That was my idea the moment I saw the tight muscles of the face. When I entered the room, I immediately looked for how the poison got into the body. As you saw, I found a thorn that had been pushed or shot into the head with little force. You can see that the place it hit would face the hole in the ceiling if the man was sitting upright in his chair. Now look at the thorn. I picked it up carefully and held it in the light of the lamp. It was long, sharp, and black, with a shiny look near the tip, as if some sticky substance had dried on it. The other end had been cut and made round with a knife. "Is that an English thorn?" he asked. "No, it is certainly not." With all these facts, you should be able to make a good conclusion. But here come the official police, so we can leave now." As he spoke, the footsteps came closer in the hallway, and a very large, heavy man in a gray suit walked into the room. He had a red face, a big body, and very small, bright eyes that looked sharply out from between swollen cheeks. He was followed by a uniformed inspector and by Thaddeus Sholto, who was still very nervous. "This is something," he cried in a thick, rough voice. "This is quite something. But who are all these people? The house is as full as a rabbit hole." "I think you remember me, Mr. Athelney Jones," said Holmes quietly. "Of course I do," he said. "It is Mr. Sherlock Holmes, the man of theories. Remember you. I will never forget how you explained causes and results to us in the Bishopgate jewel case. It is true you helped us find the right way, but you must admit it was more luck than good thinking. It was simple reasoning." "Oh, come on. Do not be afraid to admit it. But what is all this? Bad business, very bad business. We have serious facts here, no place for theories. It is lucky I was already in Norwood on another case. I was at the station when the message came. What do you think the man died from?" "Oh, this is not really a case for me to give theories about," said Holmes dryly. No, still, sometimes you are right. Dear me, the door was locked, I hear. Jewels worth $500,000 are gone. What about the window?" "It was closed, but there are marks on the sill." "Well, if it was closed, the marks cannot matter. That is simple logic. The man may have died suddenly, but then the jewels are gone. Ah, I have a theory. These ideas come to me sometimes. Step outside, Sergeant, and you, Mr. Sholto. Your friend can stay. What do you think of this, Holmes? Sholto was with his brother last night, as he said himself. The brother died suddenly, and then Sholto took the treasure. What do you say?" And then the dead man kindly got up and locked the door from the inside. There is a problem there. Let us think simply. This Thaddeus Sholto was with his brother. There was a quarrel, we know that. The brother is dead, and the jewels are gone. That we also know. No one saw the brother after Thaddeus left him. His bed had not been used. Thaddeus is clearly very nervous. His appearance is, well, not very pleasant. You see, I am building my case against Thaddeus. The net is closing around him. You do not yet know all the facts, said Holmes. This small piece of wood, which I believe is poisoned, was in the man's head, where you can still see the mark. This card, with writing on it, was on the table, and next to it was this strange tool with a stone head. How does all that fit into your theory? Confirms it completely, said the fat detective proudly. The house is full of Indian objects. Thaddeus brought this one here, and if this small piece of wood is poisonous, then Thaddeus could have used it to kill, just like anyone else. The card is probably just a trick, a distraction. The only question is, how did he leave? Ah, of course, here is a hole in the roof. With surprising speed for such a big man, he ran up the steps and pushed himself into the attic, and soon we heard his happy voice saying that he had found the trap door. He can find something, said Holmes, shrugging his shoulders. He sometimes shows a little intelligence. Il n'y a pas des sots si incommodes que ceux qui ont de l'esprit. You see, said Athelney Jones, coming down the steps again. Facts are better than theories. My idea is correct. There is a trapdoor to the roof, and it is partly open. I opened it. Oh, really? So you did see it? He looked a little disappointed. Well, whoever saw it, it shows how our man escaped. Inspector! Yes, sir, came the answer from the hallway. Ask Mr. Sholto to come here. Mr. Sholto, I must tell you that anything you say can be used against you. I arrest you in the Queen's name for being involved in your brother's death." "There, I told you," cried the poor man, raising his hands and looking at all of us. "Do not worry, Mr. Thaddeus Sholto," said Holmes. "I believe I can prove that you are innocent." "Do not promise too much, Mr. Theorist. Do not promise too much," said the detective sharply. "It may be harder than you think." "Not only will I prove he is innocent, Mr. Jones, but I will also give you, for free, the name and description of one of the two people who were in this room last night. His name, I believe, is Jonathan Small. He is a poorly educated man, small and quick, with his right leg missing, and he uses a wooden leg which is worn on the inside. His left boot has a rough, square front with an iron band around the heel. He is a middle-aged man, very sunburned, and he has been a prisoner. These details may help you, along with the fact that there is skin missing from the palm of his hand. The other man—" "Ah, the other man," asked Athelney Jones in a mocking voice, although I could see he was impressed by how exact Holmes was. "Is a very unusual person," said Sherlock Holmes, turning away. "I hope soon to introduce you to both of them. A word with you, Watson." He led me to the top of the stairs. "This unexpected event," he said, "has made us forget the original reason for our visit." "I was just thinking the same," I answered. "It is not right for Miss Morstan to stay in this sad house. No, you must take her home. She lives with Mrs. Cecil Forrester in Lower Camberwell, so it is not very far. I will wait for you here if you come back. Or maybe you are too tired." "Not at all. I do not think I could rest until I know more about this strange case. I have seen some of the hard side of life, but I tell you honestly that all these sudden and strange events tonight have shaken me a lot. Still, I would like to stay with you and see the case to the end, now that I have come this far." "Your help will be very useful to me," he said. "We will solve the case ourselves, and let this man Jones be happy with whatever wrong idea he creates. After you take Miss Morstan home, I want you to go to number 3 Pinchin Lane, near the river at Lambeth. The third house on the right is a bird stuffer's shop. The name is Sherman. You will see a weasel holding a young rabbit in the window. Wake old Sherman and tell him, with my compliments, that I need Toby at once. Then bring Toby back with you in a cab. A dog, I suppose?" "Yes, a strange mixed dog with an excellent sense of smell. I would rather have Toby's help than all the detectives in London." "I will bring him then," I said. "It is 1 o'clock now. I should be back before 3 if I can get a fresh horse." "And I," said Sherlock Holmes, "will see what I can learn from Mrs. Burnstone and from the Indian servant, who, Mr. Thaddeus tells me, sleeps in the next attic. Then I will watch how the great Jones works and listen to his not very kind jokes. Wir sind gewohnt, dass die Menschen verhöhnen, was sie nicht verstehen. Goethe always says things clearly.